Hello students, this video will go over how to color your portrait using Kleki. As you look at these examples, you want to ask yourself whether you want to do a realistic color scheme or something a little bit more metaphorical. So obviously this, your skin and hair are not really blue, it's just kind of designed to mimic the red, white, and blue of the American flag. Dolores' hair is not really pink. It's probably just they chose these pink colors to match her shirt and lips and text. I'm going to be demonstrating today using this portrait of Kamala Harris, so I chose to go with a natural color scheme. As you look at this, the one thing I do want you to just notice is today we're only going to focus on the figure, the person. We will be doing the background and text in a separate video. So just so that you know, I'm also going to be using Google Draw for that matter because it's easier to do text. So with that, let's get into Kleki, and I'll go over some tips for how to fill in the face. So here is my portrait. I have my outline is on a separate layer as my photo. This is great. And the background is also on a separate layer. The first thing you want to do is actually add a new layer in between your outline and your photo. So I will double click on this layer 4 and call it color. And then rename. So then with the photo at 100% and with the outline at 100%, I'm going to go over here, and now in previous classes I demonstrated that if you have the brush tool turned up pretty high, you can kind of like right click, or if you don't have a mouse you can alt click, and your cursor will turn into a little eyedropper tool. This is very useful, so you can kind of like take this color, put a little swatch over there. I might do that right now. I'm going to just kind of swatch out face, maybe a brown for her hair, and then like a gray for, and even though her suit blazer is like dark and light, I'm going to pick the lightest colors. And the hair, same thing with the hair, right? Her hair is kind of a light brown and dark brown. I want to kind of pick the lighter one of those, and then maybe a little gold, and maybe a lipstick color. So now I will turn off, actually, you know what, let me get a brown for her eyes. I'm going to actually turn off the photo so I can see just the drawing that I'm working with. And what I'm going to do, there are some tips for this. I will be switching from between the brush and the bucket. And just so you know, the shortcut for the brush is B, and the shortcut for the bucket is G. And so you can press those back and forth to go between them. So you may need to like brush a little bit. So I'll turn that brush down to like 4. So it's a simple little tiny brush. And then the other thing I want to do, I'm going to put the bucket on, G. In the settings for the bucket, I'm going to make sure that sample is on all, and that I have grow turned up to like 2. Now this will just be helpful. You'll see in a minute. So first, I'm going to kind of zoom out, and I'm going to start by picking that skin tone, and I'll click inside the face. And if I did this right, it will just fill the whole face. The only issue might be if you have any sort of gaps, like there was a little tiny gap here in that shape. I may need to go in with my brush and just kind of close that gap so that now I can kind of zoom out and then go back to my bucket and fill, and then see, so there was a gap somewhere in the lips, but that is okay, because now what I can do is I can choose the lip color, and then I'll fill this top lip, and I will go to the brush again, zoom in and see if I can find that gap. Here it is. Just fill that gap, and then go back to my bucket and fill. So that is a quick way to fill large areas Then the reason that we have grow turned up to 2 is I will show you. So what it actually does is when you click it, let me pick that skin tone color again, right click, it grows the shape by a tiny bit, like 2 pixels. And those 2 pixels will kind of go underneath your outlines, and it just makes a nice, smoother edge. So I'm going to speed up the video and just go through and repeat that same process. I may have some issues. As you can see, I'm already figuring out that I'm probably going to have some problems down here in the hair. So I will have to kind of close these large gaps so I can fill those in. But I'll meet you back here after everything is filled. All right, so hi everybody, welcome back. I just realized I forgot this little blouse part here. And this one. So if you don't like the paint bucket tool and you're like, I would just rather prefer to brush it, you still can. And that's actually this last part that I want to do, because I'm looking at it and, there are some like little white spots showing up from when I used the sketchy brush. So what I'll do with my brush is I'll just right click and pick up that brown, and I'll just paint right over those and just kind of fill in any of those splotchy white parts, if there are any, because within this next step, even parts like eyes and those kind of things, you do want to fill in areas that are white. So if I turn the background off, I'll turn the background off. If you see checkers underneath, that means it hasn't been filled in. You do want to try as best as you can to fill in everything that you drew, because otherwise it's going to change and turn into the background color. So even here in the eyes, I will want to choose a white color and kind of fill in this white, and where teeth are, I might want to fill that. I think this was kind of like a silver, pearls, and then a goldish orange, maybe for that. And then let's do that same pearl color down here. But you don't want to leave any areas where the checkers show through, because that will cause issues when, I missed it, I misclicked there. So let's get closer. It will cause issues when you add the background at a later time. So once you have your artwork like this, there's one last little spot that I think is missing, this little pin down here. On your color layer, so remember this is what it looks like right now, I want to just hit the eraser button or shortcut E and just erase these dots. And I will save my work to the cloud, and I will also save it as a PST. I'll explain this again in the next video, but you do want to use PNG for your final step, but that will be in the next video. So thank you for watching. This video covered how to add color to your face and clothing. In the next video, we will focus on how to create the poster layout with the background and add an inspirational. Thank you and have a great day.